Hello. Today I'm joining from a vehicle that I use to work with. I pulled over to quickly create a video that I felt inspired by a piece of music that I was listening to while I was working. And I also wanted to point out that today I'm joining you from the vicinity of a cemetery where I buried someone that I loved, that I cared for as a personal care attendant, an elderly person that we lost due to cancer, and some of his the fight that he put up, and the sheer courage of his smile and his attitude. When I was caring for him as a PCA, I had instructions he had orders from a doctor or from his care agency to stay in his home, which I would stay with him at his home as he went to different as he visited different doctors. And he would sneak away from me and just roam about the neighborhood just because he wanted to get out and enjoy the day. And so he just always had that will for life. And he was like older, like maybe in his I want to say like late 60s or so, and he would just go to the state fair just to hang out and just to see people. So I salute the spirit of life. And at the same time, I enjoy dark places like a cemetery, with no disrespect, just because it is it's away from the current environment that we're used to. And I would recommend for artistic people, if you can find opportunities to spend time low key in a vicinity or area that you don't normally spend time in, and is different from your walk, your purposes in life. Just simply the experience of being somewhere that you're normally not can inspire reflections and ideas that may not occur to you in your normal vicinities. So I just wanted to put that out there as a maybe as a way to experience and enjoy certain aspects of life, both light and dark, and maybe take opportunities to alter the course of your life, both your daily goings on and your thought life, to veer into new areas simply by doing things that are strange and unusual, but with inspiration. But with this video, I wanted to step forward and express a little bit about what I believe is some of the underlying beauty and reality of the art that we consume and enjoy. But in my as I'm gonna speak about hip hop. Now I'm not exactly a hip hop artist. I've been a lifelong lover and appreciator of all music genres, but hip hop has probably been has had the most influence and sway on my development, just in terms of the taste, my taste, and what has just kind of really held my attention and my feeling for music. One thing that I'm kind of proud of. I can't claim to be from Memphis, Tennessee, but I lived there for 1 year during high school, a very formative point in high school. And I had a little bit of a culture shock because I had grown up as a child in the Southwest, and then as a young child in the Southwest, and then more so in the northern Midwest. So relocating to Tennessee as a high schooler, I was already inspired by the culture of the South, from the exposure I'd had at a church that I went to, where many members were originally descended from the South. But just the language, the swagger, and the culture, and some of the formalities of the South, some of the respectful gestures, and the chivalry. I know the South has its challenges like anywhere else, but there's some really beautiful aspects of the South, and particularly Memphis. I think that Memphis is it's a very influential place in terms of music. Obviously, from the in the periods in the past, like with R&B and rock and roll, that are acknowledged around the world for the influence that it's had. But I think that the area is still very influential to this day in terms of hip hop and the genres that are inspired by hip hop. And I won't reference or cite any artists from the Memphis area, but if you do your due diligence and research, you can probably discover that many of our influences in some of the trends and the influence the aesthetics of what's popular currently in hip hop can really be derived in recognized to emanate and exist around Memphis. And I think that all areas of the United States and of the world have unique and awesome musical cultures and histories that intermingle and overlap. So you can have like hip hop influences from the West Coast that intermingle with the South and are equally brilliant and unique, that borrow from one another. Because I think as musicians and artists, we're always borrowing from one another, whether we recognize it or not. And so I just want to salute and respect all areas and all areas as having a unique flavor and style that is both original to them, but also that draws from and feeds other areas. But just me personally, I had grown up, lived for a little while in Memphis, and what I wanted to talk a little bit about is like what my understanding of real hip hop is. And if you look, if I kind of I've always enjoyed like kind of like underground hip hop, or if not underground, I just mean hip hop that is it's not as commercially popular, and maybe not as polished or gloss. It's not as glossy as like pop music and what you'd hear on the radio, but sometimes it's very raw and very like almost you can imagine that they might have been like cooking it up in someone's basement while they were partaking of whatever substances. And I'm not advocating for substances, but I'm just saying the authenticity of the lifestyles overlapping with the location that the music was created in and the subject matter, all of that combining to create an aesthetic and also a message that is very authentic and real. And what I noticed, I was listening to something today, and from I think it's like maybe from like the late '90s, and you know, if you listen to it on the surface of it, like this is like really hardcore stuff. Like they're talking about like stick ups and like backdooring people and setting people up and all kinds of like really shady, grimy stuff. But somehow at the same time, they're giving like real life lessons that you can grow from and appreciate. Like they're talking about like being ambitious and earning income however you can find it to survive, and then also being a little bit kind of maybe even shysty about how you handle yourself and other people, and looking out for your own interests when a lot of people, like even maybe people you're attracted to, like beautiful people, can be very cunning and ruthless. So what I mean to say is that my understanding of real hip hop, which is interchangeable with all the different genres of our music and history, going back to R&B, blues, gospel, and then folk music before that. I think that the real stuff, the real potent stuff, whatever the subject matter may or may not be, it contains real insight and lessons and keys to surviving. And I'm saying that this hip hop that we both express and consume and enjoy is like a reciprocity and I had mentioned another video about like when human beings historically got together and shared insight about the game trails. And so I'm saying that this real hip hop is something that belongs to us as human beings and as inheritors and appreciators of it. And it is it's actually like a survival thing in which we're sharing our experiences, and we're also both celebrating and warning one another of different realities that we face in our environment, whatsoever the morality is, and the regarding how we go about conducting ourselves. So I just wanted to say, if we appreciating hip hop without judgment, but strictly from in terms of creativity, but also insight into survival. And I think that that's a lot about what real true hip hop and music and art and self-expression is fundamentally. And then on top of that, these artistic expressions that we both create and share, they're so potent in power and influential, but also valuable in a commercial sense, that I think certain artists that maybe pioneer some of these styles and promulgate this music, I think that they can be admired and imitated and replicated, which is actually part of the process of real and authentic music creation and inspiration. However, there is the temptation and the undertones, or the temptation and incentives to commercialize it, and then re-engineer and steer the message for a more and more self-centered and commercial and maybe status quo standpoint, that really dilutes and alters the message and the real spirit, the real aesthetic and impact of the authentic potent music. And so, not to cast judgment on any form of music, because self-expression is self-expression, whatever the standpoint, and is to be respected on that level. And also, taste is unique to each person, because I think that taste is creative. What may be appealing to one person may not be appealing to another person, and vice versa. And both standpoints are valid, in my opinion. So I want to put out respect for all people creating music, but I just want to point out the difference that maybe if you're listening to music and you've heard in terms of like predatory or like culture vulture stuff with regard to different genres of music, I don't mean to cast any judgment or arbitrary classifications or definitions of what music is, but I simply mean to express that as you listen to music, maybe consider the impact of it, and if it is imparting real actionable or real insight that affects you in your life, and that is that you can improve, that you can gain from whatsoever genre or whatsoever subject matter. And then recognize the distinction of when sometimes it's starting to lean a little bit commercial, and it's really truly not in any kind of spirit of reciprocity or a sharing of experience, and it turns into maybe like an exercise in vanity, or even portraying messages that are calculated to injure a person listening to it, which I have heard some such music. So I just again respect for all music creators, all music styles, genres, all music eras, all music areas that are creating and sharing unique styles. And I just wanted to shed some light on my background and some of the regions that I've been influenced by, and then also to put out the message that that real hip hop and real art, for that matter, is about sharing experience in reciprocity and making one another better for the purpose of survival and beauty. But I hope someone can appreciate that. Keep up the work, and always shed love, spread love, and show mercy when you have it in your hand to do so. Peace.